Welcome to What's Wrong with Wolfie.
Greetings and welcome to What's Wrong with Wolfie, a retro podcast dedicated to the pop culture of the 80s, 90s and zeros. My name is Jason.
And I'm Rich.
And I'm Chris.
And it's time to strap on the leotards, lads, as thanks to the recent reboot is the perfect time for us to visit the original ITV Gladiators. Look forward to hearing about our favourite glads, favourite events and our thoughts on the BBC reboot. So podcasters, ready?
I was hoping he was going to do that.
Listeners, ready?
3, 2, 1.
Aruga!
For 9 weeks from this arena, 24 contenders will battle in epic competition, such as you've never seen before. Gladiators won't pick on people their own size. It's everyday people from all walks of life that will take on the might and muscle of ITV superheroes. It's family fun. The competition's electric. Gotta move like a streetwise fighter. Gotta breathe the fire of the tiger. Gotta give your all to win. Ready or not, let the challenge begin. The perils of the wall. The clash of the atmospheres, the awesome danger zone, the high-flying swing shot, the arm-wrenching hang tough, the brute force of duel. Show the stuff done later. Can we see the gladiators? Can you challenge the gladiators? Will you take on the gladiators? Will you be the new champion? It's the biggest ever special event sports entertainment series, The Gladiators, starting next Saturday.
Gladiators was a 90s phenomenon, taking over the dreams of many of taking on Jet on Hang Tough or showing Wolf he wasn't all that. Hosted by John Aruga Fashanu and Eureka Car Johnson, it captured the imaginations of children across the world, and the UK version was one of the best. It didn't start out strong, with Series 1 having empty seats in the arena and average viewing figures, but it didn't take long before people caught on what the show had to offer. And Rich, can you remember being there at the start?
Oh yeah, I was 100% night one. This was obviously in an era where, we still enjoyed television and Saturday nights were like an event. Used to sit at my nan's house, sandwich, crisps, just, having a little tea and just watching Gladiators, bit of... It was part of a greater schedule, and it was for me it was still my favourite show of a Saturday night. I was so into it. This is probably around the time where I first got into wrestling, so it kind of scratched itch a little bit with the the athleticism and the physicality, and obviously the likes of Wolf being a bit pantomime-ish, playing the villain. I was like, okay, this is definitely my kind of shit. I think one of the things that really jumped out to me, and I guess we kind of see it more nowadays as well because we've got things like Doctor Who, but I remember it being the first kind of UK piece of television where it really felt commercialized and merchandise. We've got the sticker album, we got the action figures from Vivid Imaginations, and remember them? I was like, that's a throwback. And we never had that. We always have it with American properties, and getting to see a British show, something that was ours. And I knew about American Gladiators. It was kind of in my orbit. I think even one time I went to a Santa's Grotto when I was younger. The toy I got was a contender figure from the American Gladiators series. What the fuck's this? The logo is completely wrong. But I knew it existed. Even without the internet, it was in my periphery. I thought, okay, yeah, I know there's an American version. But I was just so into it. I had the Panini sticker album, had all the stickers, kept all the repeats of Jet. never traded those. Yeah, I loved it. I was just so into it. I don't know what it was. Just with the crowd, the music, and there's something we'll obviously get into later on with the BBC version. It was so typically kind of 90s. And obviously now we appreciate it because it feels nostalgic. But even then, when I was hearing like Tub Thumping or some shit like that, or, Another One Bites the Dust, or I just was like, yeah, this is so corny and fun. And as a kid, it just felt like such a change in tempo compared to your usual, like, your You Bets and Stars in Her Eyes and Blind Dates. I just thought this is something that's the family can kind of get into it from all different walks of life. So, mum might be like, oh, yeah, Saracen, like him. And, dad and son are like, oh, yeah, Jet. It's like, and yeah, I don't know. Everyone had something they could kind of gravitate towards and watch it together, and it wasn't just another goddamn game show.
It was great because it didn't take itself too seriously, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely leaned into it. Like I said, we got with Wolf. I remember, like, my nan, God rest her soul, was like always like getting quite het up by him. Like, he was playing like the shitty. He's going to use some wrestling jargon now, but he was playing the shitty heel and the bad guy. I think a certain older generation just kind of bought into it. I think there was very much that kind of a world of sport mentality. The old women with their handbags, in the front row, getting all aggravated at like the bad guy wrestler, thinking it was all real and that he's a prick, and I'll give him a piece of my mind, and how dare he, be rude to a contestant. And I just loved it. The whole thing was just such corny shit, and yeah, it's just really cool to see athleticism instead of just answering questions or
yeah.
Your typical Saturday evening fodder. So,
What about yourself, Chris? Were you there at the start?
To quote Hot Fuzz, what he said. Yeah, I think Rich hit the nail on the head. I wasn't exposed to wrestling, and I never got on with it. I tried for my mates, and later for Rich, I really tried, and I just, I did, and like Rich tried watching the stuff I watched, and you're just different people. And Gladiators comes along, and it's like almost copying that wrestling entertainment model, but also doing a British version of it. It was just nice to watch, and we watched it as a family, all three of us, on a Saturday night, and it's just an hour of fun. Famous pieces of music as incidental music, like Rich said, Another One Bites the Dust, when was it Hang Tough they used that one for, wasn't it?
It was always Jewel as well when they get knocked off the podium.
And
all the crowd with the foam fingers, like, yeah.
Yeah, you've got those caricature gladiators who, especially Wolf became like an instant celebrity almost with his again, like Rich said, the pantomime-esque shenanigans, the goading the crowd and threatening the contestants and starting on the ref and stuff like that. So he was like the bad boy, and my brother loved Wolf. But yeah, it was just fun, and it was different to things like Noel's House Party and whatever the hell else we had on Saturday night TV. I can't remember. Like the magazine shows, it was a different thing where it's just an hour of entertainment in this big arena with these insane, larger-than-life events like the Atmospheres and Hang Tough and the Pugil Sticks, and you're just like, what is this? This is amazing. And again, like, I don't know if I had any action figures. I honestly can't remember. But we used to play Gladiators at school. It was it became such a phenomenon that I remember, like, a few of my friends and other people that I weren't friends with were on the school benches in the playgrounds playing Pugil Sticks. But not with them. They were just imagining that they had them, and then they'd do the whole pratfall off, and I was just like, it was lovely.
Yeah.
And now with this new reboot, it's kind of nice to maybe see that happening again, where you get that entertainment value again, and it's a bit cheesy, and it's fun, a little bit annoying, but fun. Yeah, very many happy memories of Gladiators.
Just on a quick one for me, they're pretty much the same as you guys, really. I mean, at this time, I was kind of into wrestling. I did quite enjoy WWF in the golden years. Should I say? Was it the golden years, Rich? I don't know.
It was kind of the worst time because it was like the new age stuff, like when it was kind of like everyone had an occupation. It was like the Canadian Mountie and bloody IRS, and there's a garbage man, there's a dentist, it was kind of that. It was shifting into what would soon be like the Attitude Era. It was kind of finding itself, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just rocking out with the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man and Bushwhackers and Hacksaw and all those kind of guys as well. So I guess like with Rich, it was kind of it was an attractive thing to see something kind of similar on a Saturday night telly that didn't involve Jet. Rich, stop it. It's just sitting down and watching it with the family. It was just fun, and I think just the whole combination of everything that they put into the show all worked so well. It just made for like a unique experience, a unique show that we'd never seen before at that time. And like Richard mentioned before, it wasn't just another game show. And like seeing the different events with these like gladiators, like these supreme beings kind of thing that they were dressed up to be, like these ultimate machines that can't be beaten. Then you've got the music, you've got the presenters, you've got the commentary over the top of that on the events when it was happening. Just all those different elements mixing together into one show, it just made for something that was just so special and unique, and just made it all so very exciting when the contenders came on and actually were matching the gladiators, and or when that gladiator fell off the podium in Duel, you was buzzing because, oh my God, I can't believe, that this person's managed to knock a gladiator off the podium and stuff. Yeah, that's the things that I remember from watching the show, and why I came back to it every week, because I just wanted to see all this happening, but I just wanted to see these like normal people come on and just try and beat these gladiators. And when they did, it was just that extra element of buzz.
Agreed, 100%. I always found out the funniest thing was with the gladiators. A lot of the time, especially on Duel, I found when they lost, it was always the most stupid thing. They just kind of slightly lost their balance. Like, oh shit! It's like almost like they kind of threw themselves off the podium. But the contestants were like, "Yeah, I did it." It's like you did jack shit. Like you just you tapped him with a stick, and
it's like Mrs. Doyle falling out the window in Father Ted.
Oh shit! But I do know what you mean. Like, it kind of was quite inspiring. Like, oh yeah, they are these like larger than life kind of like superhero type figures, and I think that's something we'll obviously get on to when we get to the new version. But I find like there's a real difference between the kinds of people from the public walks of life then to there are now, and I found like a lot of the people then were more, although they're athletic, I found they were still quite normal. They're just like, oh, they're a marathon runner, by day and whatever. They're just, a lot of them were quite slight people. They weren't like jacked. And I think I found them quite inspiring because of that.
Yeah, they weren't jacked until the early 2000s when they rebranded the whole thing. And you had gladiators named after condoms and stuff like that. And like, Trojan.
Who is now a WWE wrestler, Trojan, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah, he went on to do WWE, and he's still on SmackDown, but he plays like an authority figure now. He's like the general manager of SmackDown.
Because I remember him being like the most jacked out of all of them. That guy was massive.
If I'm thinking of the right person. Oh, no, different guy. Okay. Oh, Trojan, he was in the original series, unless they did it for the Sky one. Did they maybe recycle?
I thought he was part of like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh shit! No way. Trojan played Action Man in the TV commercials. You remember when they had like the live action?
Really?
Yeah, when you saw the ads for the dolls, and it was always a live action actor, or the Scar, and the guy playing Dr. X and Dr. Gangrene. It was him.
Oh my god!
Holy shit! It was like, I just read it. I was like, I know him.
What the hell?
Like black hair, all gelled, and it was like, no way! Shit, that's awesome. I love those commercials.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until now. So fantastic.
Amazing. I mentioned a little bit there about the presenters of Gladiators, John Fashanu, Aruga.
John Fashanu. Sorry, it's a brass eye joke. John Fashanu. John Fashanu. It's like John Fashanu. John Fashanu. It's like, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I had to get out of my system. It was just like Chris Morris saying John Fashanu 10 times, and then when he goes to the studio, I'd be John Fashanu in our next segment. It just pronounces it different the last 10 times. And just one of the best. It was just like accompanied by different clips of John Fashanu, like candid, like celebrity shots of him walking out of a shopping centre, walking out of his house, just signing autographs. But anyway, yeah, continue. I've got that on my system. I'm happy.
I didn't think you'd hook on John Fashanu so much. I thought it'd be on Eureka.
It's brass eye. What can I say?
But they were a great choice for presenting the show, weren't they?
Oh yeah. The only good choice we're going to cover in this episode. So yeah, they had really good chemistry. I liked them. I mean, I've never had a problem with Eureka. I think some people probably find her annoying, but I always found her just completely just acceptable. There's nothing about her that was like found grating. She was just nice, warm, bubbly presence. John Fashanu kind of quite charismatic, and also he scratched the itch of being an athlete as well. So he kind of has that kind of crossover, gives it some kind of like sports, legitimacy by him being there. So I liked him. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, because like Eureka I didn't really know a lot about her. Like she just seemed like the girl from next door kind of person, and
especially if you're Cobra. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, John just felt like I was just getting into football around that time as well. So John being on there, I mean, he wasn't the team I supported, but it was a nice little connection for me to see him on there, and he seemed like a bit of one of the lads, or that kind of thing, and that was quite fun to watch as well. So yeah, I think you're quite right that they were both probably they were good lucky picks.
I have to ask you, just because it's the 90s, did you have the Corinthian soccer stars figure of him with the big head?
Oh yeah. God, I used to have loads of those.
God, those goddamn things.
I wasn't a football person, but I always found those super neat at school. Oh man, I want one of those. I don't like football, so I'm out.
They were cute as fuck. Don't get me wrong. I just wish I did more of them. But for some reason, in the 90s, late night, the bobblehead craze was fucking insane.
Yeah, not the original Funko, but not.
Yeah, and it still is now with the Funko Pops, which unfortunately, I have a few, but they're all from like gifts and Christmas. Oh yeah, you're into this. Have one of these. Oh, thanks. Go on the shelf. Yeah, like my brother had the entire Manchester United team.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
And he also
Nice.
he used to collect all of them, and I think he had some of Arsenal and stuff like that. And to this day, my mum still has two of them in her cabinet in her house.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I kept them.
One of them's David Seaman, because all the mums love David Seaman. So.
Yeah, my brother had loads of those damn things, all of them. But they, like Rich said, they were kind of cute, and just.
Yeah,
I
well, I used
wasn't
to like
into
collecting them.
Yeah.
Them and the I think they did World Cup coins that I connected quite a lot of.
Oh yeah, the coins. They had football players on the back of it. Welcome to Collector's Corner.
Yeah, I don't know if you've got anything to say, Chris, on the presenting of Gladiators.
I think it was almost spot on for the mid 90s, to be honest, because Ulrika was a massive household name. She'd done daytime TV, and she had done panel shows, and she was kind of well connected, and again, like Rich said, bubbly, easygoing, kind of like it just worked. She was the everyday person, like Rich said, giving the other co-host a bit of legitimacy, being a sports personality as well. It added to that. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for right now? Representation. That was it. That's the word.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's like legitimate, like sports star. So you had that representation of the sports, and then you had everyday person. So it was great. I had no problems with it. No, I was too young to read between the lines and understand what was going on in the newspapers and all that. So I didn't care. It was just fun.
I just remember one of the things I remember that was kind of outside of the show, a bit extracurricular, as it were. I think wasn't there an episode? Wasn't it like the Cook Report? When he chased, I think it was Cobra and Wolf, because he was doing an expose about like steroid use and drug use in Gladiators. And
Mate, I have not watched the Cook Report in probably nearly 30 years.
he did all these silly costumes where he had his fake moustache and that, and I think they like jumped onto a ferry and fucked off. He's like, he pursued them and they escaped onto a ferry because they wouldn't answer his questions. I don't think I'm making this up. I think this actually happened, and I hope it's on YouTube. But yeah,
Would not surprise me.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. So but I think really it was that, and then it was just Eureka working through the locker room. I think it was Hunter, not Cobra. So
Yeah, I definitely remember.
Hunter was
about Hunter.
hunted.
yeah, Hunter had both Eureka and Jet. So
Wow, no wonder he's smug looking. Well, talking about the Gladiators, what it was called after? The Gladiators, the Glads. I don't know if I like that. The Glads.
shit, I don't like it.
Yeah, the main attraction is the Gladiators and these like ultimate warriors that are there to stop the contenders from scoring their points for the eliminator at the end of the game. Like I said at the beginning, you know, you looked at these people as powerhouses, you know, you had some kind of like little, I don't know, respect for them, I guess, that they were these just old beasts that were just unstoppable. What I want to know about the Gladiators and is what your favourite Gladiator was
Jet.
in the original show, and you're not allowed to pick Jet.
I'd have to Google them now because I see one I paid attention to.
It's only Jet and Wolf that anyone ever remembers, because one was stunning and the other one was a caricature animal man.
Oh God! I always forget that Sharon Davies was one.
Was she? I forgot that too. Amazon, wasn't it? Amazon.
Yeah, she was. What the fuck? Before she was doing like the Big Breakfast, she was a gladiator. So
it's amazing.
Crazy.
We'll talk about Jet. I think Jet's probably one of our favourites.
It's a separate episode.
Yeah, that's a bonus episode.
Like series on Patreon.
But apart from Jet, you know, while Rich is deciding who else he liked in the show, is there a gladiator that you preferred?
Well, I remember Lightning, she looked like one of my school friends.
It was always Falcon, rest in peace. I always felt she's left us, hasn't she? That's sad.
Really?
She died like a few months ago. She's only like 59, died of cancer.
Oh my God, I didn't know about that.
And she's one that like the mullet. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of like a mullet. Yeah, she's the only one that's died so far. But I'm struggling. I just don't know who they are.
Some of these pictures are 90s as fuck.
Seeing them now as well. I look at Cobra. It looks like fucking your granddad. I look at Cobra. It's like, oh my God. Like,
have you just looked at the same picture I'm on right now?
It's a Daily Star one when he's got his little black and white singlet on. He's got his like nipple poking out. And
I've just got that one up, right? It looks like someone's put like an age filter on their faces. It doesn't look right.
I always liked Saracen. He seemed quite fun. Saracen was cool. He seemed like someone you'd ever laugh with. I just found him unremarkable. I just couldn't get past Jet.
No.
They're just like bit players. Other than Wolf, who was clearly like, yeah, Wolf's got something about him. Shadow was good. He had those really like steely white eyes.
Really intense, though, wasn't
like
it?
when he was on the duel, looking across me on that podium, I was like, I'm just gonna jump off now. Like, it's like, and yeah, like he had something. I just feel like a lot of them didn't really jump out to me. Yeah, okay. I'm still looking at Jet now. Like 5 tabs open.
John Anderson, the referee, is still alive and kicking at 93.
They should have brought him back for the new one.
Oh, God. He'd probably do a good job, to be honest.
Get him to host it. It would have been better.
I tell you what, like I don't really have a favourite gladiator, I think, other than Jet. But I think one of the lasting legacies of gladiators, if I said to you the name Eunice Hut, do you recognise that name?
It sounds like something from Star Wars. I don't know.
It does, yeah. She was a contestant that did so well against the gladiators.
She became one.
She became a gladiator. And do you know what she's doing now?
Is that the one that she's got a glass shop or something?
No.
No, that's not her.
She is working in Hollywood as a stunt choreographer and arranger. And she has her own stunt performing company, which does literally like almost like death-defying stunts for Hollywood. That's
fair play to her. That was
in 30 years, and I remember vividly my mum hating her because no, because I think what it was she took the whole arena by storm. That she was back almost every year as a contestant and wiped the floor with all the gladiators, and the crowd loved her. And yeah, now she becomes a gladiator, and now she's running her own stunt team in Hollywood. Just look her up on IMDb. You'll be amazed at what she's worked on. I think she's done Mission Impossibles and stuff like that. And yeah, it's one of his names. And she was actually interviewed by, was it Behind the Scenes on a film about 10 years ago? And I thought to myself, why the fuck do I recognise that name? Looked her up. Yeah, Gladiators. UK Gladiators.
Which gladiator did she play? Do you know?
She eventually became Blaze.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool. What story?
Hey.
She's the only UK contender to ever become a gladiator. And now she's been a stunt double. And she's worked as a stunt double for Famke Janssen, Angelina Jolie, Mila Jovovich, and Uma Thurman.
Damn.
Whoa, hang on a minute. She's worked on GoldenEye, Titanic, Fifth Element, The Avengers, The Wolfman, Tomb Raider series. She's Angelina Jolie's double of choice for all of her projects and is the godmother to her daughter.
Damn.
Fucking hell. V for Vendetta, Alice in Wonderland, Paradox, Rise of Skywalker, where she was the stunt supervisor or coordinator. That's mad.
I have to say this now because otherwise I'll forget to say it later, and I want this to be on the episode. I kind of just wandered onto the international section of that site, and the Nigerian version looks sick. And there is actually a gladiator. His name is Hot Dog. I was like, cool. I'm like, fine, fuck it. So, Hot Dog.
He wins.
Yep, that's his actual gladiator name. Got one called T-Rex, Terminator. Oh, shit, one called Titanic. That's not very good. The guy's name is actually Tony Voltron, as in like the robot.
Really?
The
As in Voltron, as in
you
Voltron.
could literally have called him Voltron and would be like, sick, but they named him after a doomed cruise liner.
Yeah, but if they called him Voltron, they'd have to fucking pay royalties.
Fucking Hot Dog, mate. What the fuck? The Russian version looks exactly like you'd expect it to. Like,
What, you mean they all the gladiators look identical?
they've all got blonde hair.
6'5", square shot. What film was that? Where was it the German tennis team or something?
That was Top Secret.
Was it
It
Top
was
Secret?
East German women's weightlifting team. Was like, I can't remember.
It's fucking so politically incorrect. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was Top Secret.
And
It could be Top Secret.
listeners, you could probably imagine what we're talking about. Please look it up. I don't want to be slammed for indecent.
Oh man.
So quite a while ago, I asked for your favourite gladiators.
Japanese version. Sorry,
It wasn't Jet. Have we come up with an answer?
It sounds like an hour ago.
I'm on the Japanese version now, sorry, so I'm going to probably pick one of these guys. Oh my god, Japanese version is amazing. Anyway, sorry, yeah, back to it. I'm probably going to go with, it has to be the Wolfman, because he was a character. He was larger than life. He had something about him that was, he did something none of the other gladiators did. He brought that kind of wrestling theatrics to the role. You know, he booed him. He was always up in the face of the contestants, you know, knocking the microphone out of Rika's hand. He would have talked to her. You know, he was like pissed when he got beat. And yeah, he was interesting. And I never like it. And I can't remember to what degree they did it on the old show, but I know they do it in the new one. I know it annoys me. I don't like the gladiators being friendly. I don't like them being like, oh, give me a hug. Oh, well done. I was like, no, I want them to like say something incredibly offensive to them about like, you know, a relative or something, and then just like push them and then walk off in a huff. And I'm like, yeah, we should fear them. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, he's my really buff mate who we had to wrestle with when I won. He's like, oh yeah, give him a noogie. You know, it's like, no, I want them to be pricks, all of them. All pricks.
Yeah, fair enough. And Wolf was the prickiest prick?
Yep.
Chris, have you come up with one?
Yeah, I'm siding with Rich on this one because he is the only one I remember, and I'm looking at images and I remember their faces, but I remember nothing of what they do. But if you said to me Wolf the Gladiator, in my head there's like 5 or 6 clips in my head of what he did. He was just great, abrasive character that you needed in a show like that. You needed that unfriendliness, and it just happened to be that one person. But the guy was so charismatic. When he wasn't on the show, he was almost in character when he was interviewed on TV shows he'd appear on. In fact, I think he even appeared in one of those TV shows in his leotard, if I remember rightly. But it was just fun. Like I said, I literally cannot choose another gladiator that's not Jet because I have no memories of them.
Fair enough. I kind of remember Hunter. I was always happy to see Hunter, I think, because he was always up for battling hard against, and he was always pretty good. Cobra, I remember. Warrior. I think Warrior, when he came on, always did kind of a good job. But I'm with you guys. With Jet out of the equation, it goes to Wolf for everything, because it was fun to hate him. It was fun to see him do bad stuff, just so you could boo him. And without that, I think the show would have been a bit flatter for it. So I think it's quite interesting that we all come to Wolf for that point. But I mean, come on then. What is it about Jet? But that's not good looks.
She was
impressive. I mean, she was generally really impressive and really cool to watch. Like, she was really cool. but she's also just incredibly attractive.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. I'm not going to bullshit you. You know, can't lie to our audience.
And I'm gonna quote Roger Moore here and say it was a nice little nothing that she was almost wearing. So yeah, that's I think that's why.
But you know, I mean, I watched one of the old episodes the other day. She did Hang Tough, which was her event. She did this like back flip or front side flip thing or whatever before when she was introduced, and I forgot she did that, and like she just pulls it off with ease.
I used to she used to do like the electric guitar with her leg. That was so cool.
Yeah,
she's put the old leg up. She used to do like the air guitar with it. I was like, hell yeah, that's so cool.
But yeah, I mean, Hang Tough was her event. I think she was always the one to beat on Hang Tough. And
yeah, completely.
I mean, Hang Tough wasn't my favourite event of the show, but like, I am wondering what your guys like when you saw an event come up and you're just like, fucking yes, come on. What was it?
I think for me, it probably is going to be a bit of a go-to answer for probably, at least I reckon, Chris, but it has to be Atmospheres.
Yeah,
because
humans in hamster balls.
Yeah, it's literally hamster balls.
Yeah, setting off explosions. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, and I'm incredulous that so far it's not been in the new series. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
I've got it on next to me on mute, and I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, well, don't get hopes up because it ain't coming.
Yeah, you won't see it.
Yeah, I think it has to be Atmosphere because it was just so kind of different. It wasn't. I mean, yeah, you see. Like with Hang Tough, obviously, it's very impressive visual because it's really fucking high up. But they are it's that same kind of like monkey bar kind of ring thing that you see in PE. You see it like in sports to a degree. Yeah, the principle's the same, but it's so unique seeing someone running around in a hamster ball setting off explosions. Like, it's just so damn cool. Like, it's different. I think if it probably was an Atmosphere, I probably would say, what was it called again now? I'm going to have to look it up. Sorry, bear with me. It's the one with the bridge where they used to fire the tennis balls out of the cannons. It wasn't very athletic. I mean, it was for the competitor, obviously, but the bloody Gladiator was just sitting there with a bloody gun. I was like, okay.
Is that Danger Zone?
It could be.
Is that the one where they ran to different stations and they had a different weapon at each station?
Yeah, that was like the Gauntlet, wasn't it? Or Joust, or whatever it's called.
And then they had the Gladiator on a podium firing tennis balls at them. And the idea was that the contender had to get through.
It was Danger Zone, yes. It was Danger Zone.
Yeah, I like Danger Zone. I thought that was really
super cool.
Yeah, because you just wanted to fire the weapons that they were using.
And that was the kind of one they could merchandise as well. I don't remember. Was there probably a Danger Zone playset with the Vivid Imaginations toys? I'm sure there was. I mean, it's perfect.
I'm sure there was. But yeah, no, Atmosphere was amazing. Always loved Atmosphere just because, like you say, it was different and it was a bit unpredictable. And I think one of the things that why it's not in the new one is that I just think it's just a bit past its time in health and safety world that we live in.
They're still hanging 20 feet above the right now, 20 feet above the thing on monkey bars with no wires. So I can't understand how the Atmospheres can be unsafe. I don't know.
Like when they collide and like the shock could like give you whiplash or something. I don't know.
Actually, I had to say an honourable mention actually because it's just popped in my head. Skytrack, which is the one that's like the upside down scale.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
Oh yes, so cool. But anyway, I won't say any more because I know you've chosen this, and so yes, Skytrack.
Yeah, no, I'll talk about mine now then. And Skytrack was one of mine, and I loved it just because who thought of these things up? Like, let's get a Sky Electric style track. Let's hang it from a ceiling. Let's get the contenders and the gladiators to then be suspended upside down on this Sky Electric's track, and then have to.
Why is it not in a new fucking series, man? That's so cool.
Yeah. There's no reason for it not to be in the new one, I don't think.
The Ring, which is the shittiest one I've ever seen. Run into the middle of the floor and touch the circle. It's like, cool, yeah. It'd be more interesting if it was based on the Japanese horror film The Ring and like Fury coming out of a well or something. I'd be like, hell yeah. Like, I'll be climbing down that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just so cool. And then like obviously the contenders start off and like watching some of them and like they really go for it. And then with the gladiators chasing them and they've got to try and press a button that's being dragged along by the contender. and obviously the
Oh
gladiator.
God, there
catches
was,
up
wasn't it?
and-
I forget about
Yeah.
that little aspect of it. Yeah.
And if the gladiator had pushed the button, then the contender had lost and was out. It was just great. Just loved it. Like just scale electrics, upside down, high up in the ceiling. Perfect. What more could you ask
Terrifying.
for?
Seriously, terrifying.
And I have to pick. Eliminator. I have to pick the Eliminator. The event that ended every show because it was the Eliminator, and it's just iconic. It's the most iconic gladiator event out there, I think. And
Fucking music, man. Oh,
we're getting there, and like seeing, obviously the whole idea is like these contenders are gaining points, and the more points you get, the more of a head start you get on the Eliminator. Watching, and especially if you've got two good contenders, and then that one contender who's been with the handicap is catching up, and then catches and goes ahead, and like there's nothing, you can't beat it.
No.
All the different obstacles in the Eliminator, that music playing in the background, the crowd roaring, and then if you did get that one where the contender was catching up and sometimes overtakes and just grabs the win at the end, you can't beat it.
I also it played out best when you'd have one like contestant that was really quite ahead, and then they struggled on that travelator. And the other contestant caught with them, and then they both started struggling, and it was just proper head to head. It completely like neutralized everything that had happened prior to that point, and it was just an uphill race. And they said that music was going and fucking the crowd's going. I was like, this is like peak light entertainment, man. This is so cool. It's just really got like goosebumps watching that stuff. It was so
The
bad.
commentator's losing his mind,
Yeah.
and just all of that, just brilliant. Just couldn't beat it. So I have to choose the Eliminator as well because it's just peak Gladiators.
Oh yeah.
Chris, what about yourself, mate?
Well, I think me and Rich tied with the Atmospheres, and I think we're all gonna tie with the Travelator because that's just before we had Ninja Warrior over here. That was the kind of closest we'll ever get. The new one here is ridiculously similar, and I think that was the vibe they were going for with the new one, where it looks identical. If you mute the TV, you could be watching it in the 90s or now. And when it gets to the Travelator, or there was, if I remember rightly, there was one team of contestants where they were both struggling and then they ended up helping each other.
Yeah, it does ring a bell.
And it wasn't up the Travelator. It was at one thing where this guy just kept struggling, and in the end, they both did it together. And I think they like almost tied within like half a second.
I'd be pissed if I was that guy that lost if he was the one that helped him. I'm like, oh shit!
I might be misremembering. I'm not entirely sure. I just remember someone going, "Look, come on, let's do it one step at a time." I'm sure I remember that somewhere. But yeah, the Eliminator was just class. And all these elements, and like Jason said, you get to that Travelator and you just see them break. And they've done all these massive events and exertion and hanging 30 feet above the arena floor and metal rings and stuff. And then gets this just Travelator and it breaks them. And it's crazy because they're just against physics and gravity. And
Have you ever tried a Travelator?
no. Unless you count me going up the down escalator in a department store, which I did as a kid, thinking it was the Travelator, or in the airport when you walk along, the one going the other way. Those fucking Jetsons, fucking moving floors that you get in airports that no one likes using.
I went to EGX a couple of years ago, and they had a Fall Guys thing going on, and there was this event where they had a Travelator, and you had to try and run up the Travelator, go down, and then run up again. It was how many circuits you could do, and the team with the most circuits won that round or whatever. I could do it once. It's really hard. It's really like the eye feet coordination. It's bonkers. Like you get ready to do it, and as soon as you put your first foot on there, and it's just weird. It really screws up with your brain. What I was told is that you have to keep looking forward. Don't look at your feet. Don't look where you're putting your feet, because that's what really screws you over, because you see the arrows going down and you're trying to go up, and you just can't work your feet properly. And the idea is like you look forward where you're going and just don't look down. But even looking forward, I couldn't fucking do it. It was a mess.
Probably like where Chris brought up like the whole escalator thing. Like probably where obviously it's much slower as well, but it's probably the escalator is so much easier where it's in steps. It's
Yeah,
giving you that kind of guide
yeah,
to work with,
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
a boundary each step. I didn't really think about that because it's just
Yeah,
flat. That's messed
yeah.
up.
No, it's really screwy. And like, even if you watch it now, even the old ones mostly, and even the new ones, a lot of people are just looking straight ahead. They're not looking down. They're just looking straight at that rope, because that's how you've got to do. Because if you do look down, mate, you're screwed. It definitely confirmed 100% that I would never be on Gladiators.
No.
So just for that reason, obviously, I'm as fit as a fiddle. I'll just walk on there and just cruise past them all, and the Travelator will be the one that just screws me over. But there was one other event I just wanted to shout out quickly before we move on, and that was the Rocket Ball, which I really quite enjoyed too. And if you can't remember Rocket Ball, that was one where they had all these different balls hanging from a ceiling, and they were all like bungee ropes, and they had to bounce down onto the floor and then bounce up and then try and grab a ball,
Oh yeah, I remember.
and then bounce back to their station and put the ball in the basket to score points. And the higher they bounced up, there was different coloured balls. So if they've got the red ball or whatever, it was a lot more points than the yellow balls, which are a lot lower. And then obviously they had the gladiators coming from a different angle on their bungee rope to try and stop them from getting the balls. That was good fun. I enjoyed that. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about on original Gladiators?
Again, I just really liked the fact that it kind of became. I mean, we're talking about it from just this thing we watched on TV, and I know Chris touched upon it. Talking about the playground. People, kids replicating it at school and stuff. But I just loved that it became this thing that was an actual kind of craze, and it was just a thing that we had. I know there were international versions, and I know it started off in America, but that we had this British kind of institution at a point, and it was merchandised. It was this big commercial thing before we had Doctor Who resurgence and that stuff, and everyone loved it. And I said I loved the sticker album. I completed that. I had some figures. And I just thought that was quite a special thing. I mean, we were entering that golden era where I think we had that. We had things like those Jerry Anderson shows that were pumping out merch, and it was all British. And I was like, this is so cool. It wasn't all based on Saturday morning cartoons we were watching or American shows after school. It was just nice to have something that was our own.
Ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned about the American one. I think that was true, wasn't it? Where the American one looked at our version and was like, they're doing it so much better that they brought over some of us.
Did they really? I didn't really look into that.
I didn't know that.
I think that was the case. I might be bullshitting, might be talking out my arse, but I'm sure that they try to take stuff from our version to try and make their version better, because we just smashed it. Okay, well, all that's left to do with the original Gladiators before we talk about the reboot is to give it an overall verdict and a score to put it on the board, because we do have to put the original Gladiators on the board. I mean, it would seem amiss if we did not do that while we're talking about it. So we'll come to you first, Rich, and what's your overall verdict on the Gladiators and your score?
It was just iconic television for me. It just was at a time, I think, where it was very much the formative years of just having things you gravitated towards and really got into being a fan of it, and you just enjoyed all the merchandise and the hype and the event television nature of it. And I just think, it's one of my most iconic shows that time in my life, and so I still remember. That's why we're recording a podcast about it. It's why I'm watching the reboot. It's endured. It's endured so well. Even when I watch old episodes now, I'm going to give it a nice big hearty 9.5. Actually, I'll give it 9.6. Jet just knocks it up a little bit higher.
9.6 for Rich. Chris?
I'd go slightly lower. Rich's original score, 9.5. Because, come on, it was 1992. I was, 8? Was it 92 this was out, or 94? I can't remember. Gladiators first came out.
92 would have been,
92?
I think.
Yeah, 92.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect entertainment for kids in 92 on a Saturday night. I have happy memories of sitting with my mum and my brother watching it on that Saturday night. And like you are now, Jason, you are now sitting with your children, enjoying the new version with snacks and having a great time. And that doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't. And for that reason alone, I think this is going to end up scoring quite high because, again, like I said earlier, I remember playing Gladiators in the playground at school, talking about it as kids. And I think it's going to score quite high. So
it is going to score high because I'm going to give it 9.5 as well. because it is just one of those iconic TV shows from our childhood that's just stayed with us for our life. And it's always been that show that you look back on with such fondness and happy memories of watching on a Saturday night and just having a great time. It just got you through the school week because you knew it was going to be on the Saturday, and you can't knock it for that. It's just iconic, and getting it through our adulthood by looking back at that time, watching Gladiators, and just making you smile or just making you reminisce about something that you saw on the show, just get you through a little bit of a sad time. That's enough on its own, really.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
So yeah, 9.5 for me as well. Well, and of course Steve's not here, is he?
No.
So we need to, Steve will give it a 9, right?
Yeah. I think to be on the safe side, I think a 9. Nice fitting 9.
So yeah, I think you're right. About a 9 for Steve. So all that added together gives it 37.6
Nice.
total for Gladiators, which means it does sit in between Doctor Who Series 1 and The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Nicely placed.
Why not? Is it good? Is it better or worse than Top Secret?
Well, I mean, the only film on the board that's better than Top Secret is Jurassic Park. So,
I think it's fair.
Yeah. That's...
brings it at number 7 in our board. So it's quite a nice place for Gladiators, I reckon. Beautiful stuff. Well, let's take a little break. Let's listen to some music from Gladiators. It's probably going to be the Eliminator music. I'm not going to, sugarcoat this at all. And enjoy the Eliminator music. It won't be the one with vocals because.
Yeah, I had no idea it had vocals until you sent that. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, it's so sick.
That's like, after 30 odd years, that's news to me, that is.
I'll put, if I remember, I'll put a link in the show notes for the vocal version so you guys can check it out. But yeah, enjoy some Eliminator music now, and then when we come back, we shall have a chat about the reboot. So BBC decided to reboot Gladiators. How were we feeling about this when we heard the news?
I mean, I think excitement, but also kind of quite a bit of trepidation, because I saw that Sky one. I was like, this is shit. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, okay, it's light entertainment in 2023/2024. It's the BBC. I mean, come on. It's like, it's probably going to be just bloody Michael McIntyre on it or something. I don't know. Something to just make it the most lowest common denominator of shite. And I was like, oh, hopefully it's good. Yeah, I mean, I was optimistic. I don't think I really followed the progress of it much. Because I think as nice as it is, and we're talking about it now, TV it's not, at least that kind of stuff, it doesn't really resonate with us anymore. I think older people maybe still, but we don't watch it. I don't really watch television. If I watch anything that's like traditional TV, it's stuff that is from the States. I stream it. I don't watch scheduled programming on the BBC of all places. So it was nice to know it existed, but I wasn't like super invested, and here I am now. I've watched every episode so far, so it must be doing something right. So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I remember hearing that. First it was the BBC, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." You know how it's gone full circle from ITV to the BBC. So I knew they were doing it, but like you, I wasn't feeling it I wasn't following it intensely or anything. I just thought that they were just going to screw it up. It was going to be quite shit, and it probably wasn't worth my time to concentrate on seeing where they were and whatever else and stuff. So I didn't know that they were going back to an arena. I didn't know anything. So when it finally arrived on the Saturday night for episode 1, I was taken aback by it all, really. But what was your feelings, Chris, when you first heard about the reboot?
Again, I think these days, me especially, I'm so disjointed from a lot of stuff that's happening, like entertainment-wise, because you don't consume entertainment like we used to. You don't stay in on a Saturday night and watch broadcast TV anymore. Like, you put on YouTube, you put on Netflix, or you put on other third-party apps to watch your stuff now. So to hear that Gladiators was coming back, again, it was trepidation. It was like, oh, what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? How are they going to change a 30-odd-year-old program to today? And it turns out visually that they've done it really, really well. In fact, it looks so identical and so well done that I said earlier, you could be watching the original show in HD or the new one now, and you'd just think at a quick glance it was the same thing. The only thing that is different is the hosts and maybe the way it's filmed. I've only watched 2.5 episodes because obviously I've had a bit of a few weeks, and like I watched half of one at work on my break today. I was quite pleasantly surprised at the production of it.
Yeah, I think we were all taken aback by that.
I've not seen as many episodes of you guys, so it's kind of like a new thing for me to process.
When I saw the first episode, like I say, I was taken aback, and I just couldn't believe it. It felt like I was back watching Gladiators on ITV in the 90s. They seemed to have just nailed the feeling and what Gladiators was about. And, back in the arena, crowd going nuts. I don't know, like it just felt like Gladiators.
We might as well go to the very start of each episode, really, and like the first episode, I had the biggest smile on my face. Opening titles, unironically, unapologetically, no messing, no meddling, no changing, no tweaks, no, we're going to update it. They just played the fucking original theme tune for the 90s show. I was like, and it wasn't some cute little nod. It's the theme for every goddamn week. And I'm like, yes, you've just straight out of the gate, you've won me round.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to make it like, oh yeah, we're going to make it edgy and serious and dark and new. And no, this is the Gladiators theme. We know we're going to get a backlash if we don't use it, because I'm sure as shit certain it wasn't on the Sky One show. And they just went for it. They thought, nah, sod it. We're whatever production things we might talk about later that don't feel as faithful to it or as good as the original, that they just throw the original theme in there. Like open and closing credits, just chef's kiss. Love it.
Yep, and they showed each gladiator in the title sequence as well, just like they did in the old time.
Yes,
and it just transported you straight back, didn't it?
I was very surprised at that myself. I didn't expect it, because obviously it's now a BBC production. Well, it was probably produced by someone, and BBC won the bidding war, I guess. I don't know the politics of it, but
MGM is kind of production partner, aren't they? MGM, Amazon.
Oh God!
You see it there, bottom is MGM, an Amazon company.
I wasn't even paying that much attention.
You see it at the very end of the credits. You see like the static graphic, the still graphic at the end. It's like BBC, something else, I think, and then there's MGM, an Amazon company. They should have just held it in a fulfillment center. Just be big enough. It's like the old Travelator with the boxes on it.
So we had that just amazing title sequence, and like you say, I think it just set the tone for what was to come. And like we saw the arena, and I think like we saw one of the first changes straight away with where they introduced the contenders, because it was like they introduced one set of contenders, and then they did the first round of the first game, and then they introduced the second group of contenders, and then do that second round of the first event. And I don't mind that. I don't think it grates on me at all, but I don't really know if it makes sense.
I like that it keeps at least like the first contenders like fresh. I mean, I know it's only minutes on TV, but probably nowadays with this, the audience is a bit different. I think it keeps them a bit fresher in your mind when you get to the first game instead of like, here's the women, chat, 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 chat. Here's the men, and then we go back to the women for the first game. It's like the women like, boom, in your face, quick chat, first game. Then I think it just keeps.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it just flows a bit better. And they're fresher in your mind, as we're a modern audience with no attention span. We're probably looking at our phone half the time anyway, because it could be the best show on earth, and we're ignoring it because
yeah. But obviously, in episode 1, the first event was Jewel. It had to be Jewel. It was just set the feelings. Like, my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Can't believe I'm seeing someone battle a gladiator in Jewel in 2024, and. It just, I don't know, like
30 years later.
Yeah,
it's even worse than that. It's 32 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
And I think one of the other changes was straight evident there. Like, when I watched back one of the old ones, they kind of did the same thing, but it wasn't so I don't know. It just didn't stick out as much, I guess, because they didn't do what they do in the new one, and that is before Duel starts. They look like the camera pans between the eyes of the gladiator and the contender, and then you get that like heartbeat mute sound now, don't we, in the new one?
I like that. That's probably the only production change I like in terms of the games, but I always hate, like, I feel like music was more prominent in the original series. I feel like now, at least when we get to the Eliminator later, it just feels very nondescript, very background. You barely notice it. I used to like the urgency and the epicness of the music in the original series. So, but I do like the heartbeat thing. And you bring that up, and I don't really think about it. But yeah, it was like that kind of slight heart monitor. Beep, boom.
Yeah, they got the heartbeat. They're looking at each. They keep panning between each set of eyes, and then they just cut to the countdown. Like 3, 2, 1, boom, go.
Yeah.
But you're right with the music. It is missing. I think that was, like we've mentioned before when we talked about the original. It was part of it, having that background music just pumping up a little bit more in the background. It just made it that little bit more exciting.
The Eliminator is literally... It's like, the fuck is this? Like, I'm not demanding that you give me the original theme, but give me some bloody music.
Something with a bit of energy to it.
Yeah.
It's like the phonics monkey from South Park. With the drum kit. It's just like, the hell is this? Like,
what one of us should do is like screen record that moment and then add Sonic the Hedgehog running out of air.
That'd be sweet.
I mean, we've seen some events come back. We've seen the Wall, which is great. I love the Wall.
Love the Wall.
And they play it well. Powerball, they brought Powerball back, which was another good event. You mentioned earlier, Rich, about the Ring, which I think is probably one of the worst ideas for an event.
Like, here's the floor. There's a circle in the middle. To just fuck about the outside, run into the middle, touch the circle. It's like, oh, cool, okay, I guess that's good. I don't know.
I mean, they got some. There are some good like body checks, like from the gladiators, stopping the contenders from getting to the button in the middle.
I was watching, like, because obviously with her rugby background, like fucking Fury is like doing bloody like German suplexes on people. Like, hell yeah,
there was like
great.
proper heavy,
it's
like grabs and pounds, and it was just like, gee, you could feel it. You could feel the pain through the screen that the contender must have felt. But I think I do like one of the new events that they brought in. Can't remember what it's called now. Like the one with the frames, and they suspend it to the ceiling.
Well, a big bit of lattice trellis they have to run across there.
Yeah, I think is it called the Edge, isn't it? Yeah, I really like that event. It's really cool. I don't think I could do it. I mean, I'd
fucking fall off.
Yeah,
straight away.
But even on the last one that we watched last weekend, and it's really exciting. I just really like that event, and the way like one contender managed to get Push Fury off. So she was just able to go backwards and forwards, and like my kid was absolutely loving it. That happening.
That's so nice. You're saying that your kid was like using their shit. I was like, oh my god.
That's one of the things. Like, I mean, I didn't mention it at the beginning. It's like watching this with my children. I just never thought I'd be able to watch new Gladiators with my children on a Saturday night. It's just brilliant. But then I think on one of the other ones, like one of the Gladiators, just the way in which they grabbed the contender and just pulled them off the frame. I think they kind of pushed them onto their chest and like he bounced back. I think that was the old guy, the 57-year-old.
How does he do 57?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He was so tiny as well, but he looked so youthful. Made me feel like shit seeing him. I was like, you bastard. I can't even get out of the chair without bloody complaining.
No. Groaning and clicking and
Going up a travelator like, oh. I can't get up the stairs. It's just like, but yeah, I know what you mean. There's been, I mean, especially with The Edge, I found some really cool moments in that. Like, I think it was maybe the week before last, maybe it was, when like Fury just ate shit off the edge. She just like went off. She almost like kind of missed the contestant and kind of lost her thing. I like, there's some real like drama from that. And other times they just like spear the contestant off the edge. I'm like, whoa. And when it goes the whole like slow motion into the net, I was like, this is cool.
Great. Yeah,
it really like builds up, like, you know, there's a net there, but it's kind of, oh shit, they're dead. It makes you kind of feel like, oh god, this is bad. It wasn't there that, I don't want to spoil it too much, but that what's her name called? The contestant in the last episode where she kind of got a bit messed up. Yeah, Betty. She got a bit messed up. I did a whoopsie off the edge.
Fucking hell.
I'd watch Frank Spencer and Gladiators, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that'd be just great.
Oh, it's just like, I love that.
So, sorry, a contestant got messed up.
Yeah, she kind of got, I don't know, she kind of got rugby tackled off the frame, didn't she? And then it's just the way that she landed. Yeah,
because I think she was like, the Gladiator was underneath her, and they both went off into the net, so she kind of landed on the Gladiator. So the Gladiator absorbed the net. They were kind of okay, but she just basically broke her fall on a person.
Oh, fucking hell.
And kind of got a bit, but yeah, she was all right.
So I saw a clip of one of the male contestants like screwed his knee up.
Yeah.
This just came up on YouTube. Was it the other day when I was looking up clips? And his knee gave out, and he just took 5, and he came back, and he just carried on going.
Oh, that was Finley, the guy in the first episode, I think.
And he became like a national treasure, didn't he, or something, in the audience. And it was just like, whoa, what the hell? Like, we're back to this again, where the contestant's like, yeah, fuck this, I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going the distance.
I think some of the other events haven't been so successful. Like we mentioned the ring, but I think Gauntlet has been a bit of a poor, really. I just don't think the new Gladiators really know what they're doing with it. I think, you know, I mean, you must remember, like it was the same with the original show, wasn't it? Like that first series, they're all just trying to find their feet. This is the first time they're actually doing it for proper. And like, it's just not going to, hopefully if we get another series, which I think we probably will, they're going to be stronger and have better tactics for these games. But the Gauntlet, it's just been easy for them. Yeah,
no, I mean, way more times than not, I've seen contestants just breeze through them or just power through them. A few of them I've seen, like, what's the one that was like a couple of weeks ago, a guy just like got completely like knocked back to the first section. I was like, I was pissing myself. Like, fuck you.
But you could kind of see that they were kind of getting it. They were starting to get it, and they're starting to find their tactics, and even the producers are finding the best gladiators for the events, because obviously they're just kind of guessing as well, aren't they? They know now to stick Giant at the back of Gauntlet, and it's going to be a fucker for them. So
I think so much of it, at least early on, was he's just trying to kind of get the gladiators to screen time, so they were just kind of putting them out there in the right kind of rotation, and not so much probably for the sake of the games, which sounds kind of silly, really, because obviously you want the best gladiators, but I think they're just trying to establish them. But I think like what you said, I think now they kind of done that, they can be a bit more deliberate with where they put the pieces, so to speak, and get the best out of the games. Because some of them have been pretty woeful in the Gauntlet, I'm not gonna lie. I could have got through it, and I'm an idiot. So
But it's, I think their choices of events have been good so far for the most part. I am now starting to wish that they would mix it up a little bit more because it seems to be the same ones every week.
Oh, yeah, completely is. Yeah.
And I feel like we need now a little bit more of a bigger rotation of events in the show because it is it's still good and like unpredictable things are still happening, but it is getting quite predictable. And even my youngest who will watch it with, he's like, oh no, not this one again. We've got to that point of the show now where now he's saying that. So he's probably not the only one who's watching it going, not the ring again.
Can you imagine they chuck that atmosphere on TV? He's going to lose his mind.
He would absolutely
But that
lose
was the
his
thing.
mind.
Oh my God!
With the atmospheres, they were interesting. There's a lot going on. There was explosions and humans in big hamster balls. How is that not a selling point today?
Big metal cage hamster balls are like the coolest thing ever. That's actually gladiatorial. It's like big, like just.
It's even called Atlas Fears.
Yeah.
It's a play on 3 words. But the point is, like, even the original show, I found the gauntlet boring as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's muscly people with pads that have got to stop someone running in a straight line.
You got like wolfing and stuff. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You're like run out wolf. We're hoping the best.
But, But I suppose they got a limited budget for sets and props and God knows what else, so they got to get their money's worth, right?
They spent all the money on the ring, didn't they? So.
Yeah, but they've got plenty of events to look to use as. I don't know, like there's lots of events from the old series that they could bring back to the new one in a safe environment. So I'm hoping that that's what they do, or even bring some new ones in like they did with the Edge, and just mix it up a little bit more and just not make it so predictable with the events.
I would like to see them, and I know they actually retired this one because I know Jet that got seriously injured and had to like retire from Gladiators. I always like Pyramid.
Mm.
I didn't know she got injured on that one.
She got major. This wasn't even like a TV taping. I think it was an actual like live tour kind of one they did.
Oh fuck!
And then she took a long break from that, didn't she, from the show because of that injury?
She was gone.
Quite right afterwards.
Yeah, but she actually retired from the show. It was like 96, I think it was. She never came back. No, they axed it because of that. But no, I think they brought it back for the Sky one. Made changes. No one liked it, so they retired it again.
Yeah. Well, there's a lesson that they don't need to relearn in the BBC one.
Yeah.
But obviously, we've mentioned the Gladiators a little bit, the new ones, and how do you guys feel about the new Gladiators?
For the most part, I like them. I think they're kind of finding some identity. There's some that already really kind of stand out. I'm not a big fan of their outfits. I feel like they should have a bit more. They look way too uniform in sense of from one gladiator to the next. It's kind of like watching UFC where they all have like generic Reebok shorts now and they all look the same.
Anton's quite cool with his hood.
Yeah, so exactly. That's great. Do that. They need to do more of that. I don't feel there's enough of it. Because like even the original Gladiators, they had that kind of red and the blue color scheme, like separate to one another, but they had the real kind of like, what do you call it? Air sprayed kind of like art on them and stuff. And now they're just like, here's my little logo on my breast. I'm like, maybe tell them apart.
Yeah, it's a bit corporate.
Yeah, I just feel like there could be a bit more. And that's not a knock on them. I just feel like maybe wardrobe could be a bit better. But I like them. I mean, there's some that really stand out. I think Diamond stands out really, really well. She's like fucking tall as shit. Rich, amazing legs. On
wardrobe's designed by AI now.
Exactly, yeah. All the gladiators have got 6 fingers. A dog growing out their back. Yeah, you've got Diamond, who's really distinct, tall, long legs, like really long blonde hair. You got Dynamite, the little one that's all like baby faced.
Mm-hmm.
Fury, just fucking juggernaut. I love Fury. She's so cool as hell. Yeah, my wife is like a massive crush on her. Yeah, like she's saying, like I would leave you for her.
And you're like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Viper is really filling in that Wolf role. I love him. I think it's great. Part of me almost kind of prefers him to Wolf. I'm like, you know what? I think I would have liked him more when I was a kid. He's actually way cooler than Wolf. He's terrifying. When they do like the duel, he's like, that's like, he's got that face on.
But I think it was one of the contenders, and like he was saying, like he was growling at me. I was like,
Great.
yes.
The dude's
He was like
leading into
growling
it.
and snarling and like trying to put me off and everything. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Like for me as a wrestling fan, they've got the wrestling term kayfabe, and the guy he abides by kayfabe, which means he's always plays his character. He never breaks character. He just keeps the illusion up. I love that. Wolf did that. And there's too many like friendly ones on there. Like, oh, yeah, you do really good, and you're an inspiration to me. And it's like fuck off.
I mean, it's good to have one or two.
Yeah, I know, but on the whole, I think they should be like you should fear them.
Yeah,
and I feel like you get that with. I think at least actually in the middle of the game, I think you get that with Fury, but then she kind of shows her personality when they're interviewing her. But like when she does, when they get the camera in on her eyes, like when she's like, you see her peering through the helmet, I'm like, fuck, she's terrifying. And so cool. Yeah, Viper, say no more. I do feel like they are establishing them pretty well. So the fact I'm reeling off the names of them, whereas I probably would be like, who's that one again? No, like Dynamite, Viper, Diamond, but they're actually rolling off my tongue, and I know I can visualize the person I'm talking about. I haven't got them on my screen right now, so that's a credit to the producers.
Yeah,
you got them in my head. They're not just this like cast of like, oh yeah, the one, that one. No,
the one with the blonde hair and muscles.
Yeah, great, good job. Yeah. I mean, there's some that are a bit. Which I think which one now probably isn't so hasn't endeared himself to me so much.
Apollo,
yeah, he's a bit weird. He's got that kind of like 80s haircut. He looks a bit like bleached hair.
Yeah, you're right. There are a few, and I was very unsure of Legend at the beginning. I didn't.
Legend's got a really shit name. I'm sorry. I don't like Legend. I just feel like, oh, you Legend. It just doesn't. It doesn't evoke like. Oh yeah, he's Legend.
It's a bit louty.
yeah, but I mean, his character has kind of come out in the last few episodes, and like, I think he does such a great job of being so pompous and self-loving, and it's just brilliant. I just find it so funny what he's going to come out with at the end of an event. Even Nitro's one of those like nice gladiators. He falls into that bracket, but he's got energy to him. He's got a bit of a buzz about him. When he comes out, he's just bouncy and he's just full of it, and you can't help but not like him for that.
Absolutely.
I think they're doing they've done a great job with the gladiators, and they've picked them wisely. A lot of them are Olympians. A lot of them have come from Team GB. Some have done bobsleighing for them, and other lots of different sports. And Fury's been a rugby player, hasn't she? And I think they've picked a good bunch of gladiators. Just hopefully, and it's showing not only in their personality but in their capabilities of getting comfortable with the games, getting their own kind of tactics. I think overall they've smashed it. I think overall there's potential here to like bring it back to maybe some kind of like popularity that the show had back in the 90s. I think as long as they don't screw it up too much, I think they've got it.
Yeah, I feel like part of me always feels like always going to be a degree of a losing battle. I think the TV landscape's changed so much that you're never going to get these kind of shows.
But that kind of shows, doesn't it, with the viewing figures? Like,
was it like 11 million, wasn't it, the first episode? I was like, what the fuck?
I think it was 9.
Really?
And, back in our day, like 15, 16 million would be like massive. But now, like 9 million is massive.
9 million's like fucking World Cup or some shit. It's just like, oh my god, 9 million. It was like, So, I thought it was like 11. I thought it was like 11 million with like iPlayer, like live views as well. It's like crazy. Like, shit. I was like, damn, Doctor Who would kill for those figures. I'm interested to see. I'm not trying to take a shot at Doctor Who, but it's not exactly killing it in the rings.
No.
And ironically, they got rid of Bradley Walsh. So
Hey.
But I mean, I think it shows the appetite that the general public have got for these kind of like entertainment shows, and I hope that shows something to the BBC and the rest of the shows. But like you say, it's a different landscape now, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I've watched every single goddamn episode on iPlayer. It's just...
we've made a point of watching it as it's broadcast, just makes it feel a little bit more old school.
Yeah.
It's been quite nice to do.
I
that.
totally get that. Totally
Yeah,
get
sit there with some snacks and
Yeah, we get the popcorn
just,
out.
Yeah,
and,
fair enough. That's how it should be done.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Okay, well, there's only one bad thing. I think the biggest sour point I think of the reboot of Gladiators, and look, and that's the presenters, right? Okay, so we've got Bradley and Barney, isn't it? His name,
Yeah.
Barney Walsh.
Yeah.
Well, I can see their thoughts and giving these guys this presenting job. Bradley Walsh is well established TV presenter, professional. You know, he's got a bit of charisma, and he can pull a joke. I mean, I think he on his own he'd be all right. I don't know.
Or with someone else that's not a relative.
I think they've missed a chance here. Like they should have brought back an old Gladiator, surely.
I think I said it previous, and I thought, what's the name again? Bring someone in, from a sort of athletic background,
or like a sportsman, or a retired sportsman, or somebody like that, who has that kind of background.
But I feel like someone with a football from a sports background. I think I said to you previously, like having like an Alex Scott, a female footballer. She's obviously an actual presenter and a pundit now as well.
Mm.
She kind of nicely fits into that sort of John Fashanu kind of role. And it kind of would have been a bit of a flip on the dynamic of obviously having John Fashanu from the sports background, now having the female presenter being in that role, and have the light entertainment male in that role. I just find in 2024, I find the whole thing really weird as well, like the nepotism aside. Having two male presenters for a show like this, not having that dynamic of male female, that balance. Here's Bradley Walsh and his fucking son. It's so weird. Like it's just like I felt like cynically just got his son a gig. Like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna do it if I let my son do it with me. It's like, well, Bradley, there's the door. Piss off. We'll get someone else. Like, he just offers nothing. I just feel like Brad says some cringy dad joke, and Barney's like, "Oh, dads." Every link they do is the same. It's like Brad says something about his cock, but it's kind of like thinly veiled enough to not offend an audience. And he's like, "Oh, dads."
They've gone for the cheeky chappy dynamic.
It's like that's literally it. It's like every goddamn link. It's like we get it. He's embarrassing dad. It's like I don't get it. It's so weird. I don't know what the thought process was with that.
I mean, I think this is the biggest contention with the show at the moment. Is just the presenters that they've chosen, and there's just better options out there. I think I don't know. We don't know the stories behind it. We don't know if it was a last minute thing or whatever. And it was like, do you know what? We maybe they tried to get other people and they left it to the last minute to say no, and they're like, well, shit, what we're gonna do? Let's get Bradley and ask Bradley to bring someone with him, just so we've got someone to present him. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. We might find out in the future.
Apparently, I'm reading. Apparently, the BBC has been hammered though with a lot of complaints about them being the choice.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on.
Some people literally just asking why. I was like, that's as damning as you can get. Like.
Well, I mean, hopefully, if they do make a second series, I think that's probably the biggest thing they're going to address. I don't think that they would bring them back for another series, with the worry that people might turn off the show because they would be presenting.
Apparently, there is a genuine row about the nepotism thing. I keep throwing that word out there for a laugh, but it's like people are like, "This is kind of shitty." Like he just comes in with his son, like what? It's like it's not like it fits into a theme or anything. Like it's like bloody doing Family Fortunes or saying you've got like two presenters. It's it's a family dynamics. It's about family. It's like no, it's just Gladiators. I'm trying to get your son a gig and give us someone decent. Like there's so many people out there. God damn.
Just bring in Jet.
Yeah, I'll watch. So let's get like Dara Bryn or something. Like da.
Mark Little. Let's bring him back.
Mark Little. Like Joe Mangle. It's like Mark Little would be amazing. Fucking Jim Robinson out there. Go Jim Robinson. He's not doing episodes of 24 anymore. He can do this. So.
Well, I think all in all, we're saying that the reboot is pretty good, and they've kind of like captured a lot of it. They just need a little bit of working on it, and looking forward to hopefully seeing what's. I think this time of recording, we've got the first quarterfinals coming up this weekend.
Oh, really?
So,
oh, shit.
Yeah. So I think it's going to start getting a little bit more exciting, and so hopefully in for some good telly coming up with the Gladiators. Well, guys, we made it to the end of the episode. It's time to go and try and get out these leotards, because that's going to take a while. It's starting to chafe a bit, guys. It's not. But I just wanted to remind you, good listeners, of a few things before we go. If you'd like to support us monetarily, then coffee is the place to go. You can give us a one-off or monthly donation starting from £1, but if that's not right for you, you can support us for free by giving us a rating or review on your podcasting platform of choice. We would really, really appreciate it if you could do that for us, just to help out other people decide to listen to our rambles. But please join us in our Discord server to chat with us or other like-minded people on retro or modern day pop culture. And also please check out thewolfiepod.com, where you can find all of our episodes, articles and much more. Links to all these can be found in the show description or on the website. Guys, this is the time where I'd ask for you to say goodbye, but this time I'm going to ask for your gladiator names. Rich.
My name's going to be a weapon because of the double meaning. So both ferocious and dangerous, and also an idiot. So it's perfect. Yeah. I'm going to be a weapon.
Well, thanks, Weapon. Chris?
Well, as I've started a new job, it's going to be Butcher, nicknamed Pat or Frank.
I like it. I got Weapon and I got Butcher. They're cool names.
You know what? I think that really just work well. So
it does. Well, all that's left for me to say is my name has been Lard Arse, and you've all been listening to.
Amazing.
You've been listening to What's Wrong with Wolfie, a pop culture podcast to the max. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
What's wrong with Wolfie? You can hear him barking.